Hello, I am Eli J. Brown / Eli J. Brony, here with a little mock that I've done. This was done quite some time ago, actually. I've just built it, tonight, depending on what time you're watching this video. If you are watching this on, the 9th of April, then it was tonight, but there could be a possibility that this video will not be up until possibly the 10th, which in my time is tomorrow. But if you're watching this video on the 10th, then in that case it would be last night. But enough about that. This is supposed to be a certain type of version of a Nui Jaga. Now, it is very large compared to the Nui Jaga that we've gotten in 2001, the first year of Bionicle. Now, some people could argue that this does not look like a Nui Jaga. Well, I will admit it doesn't look very much like the original Nui Jaga did, but this is supposed to be a large-sized replica of a Nui Jaga. But it's not supposed to be just any Nui Jaga, but I'll get to that in a minute. Now, some people would probably say, well, this is not a scorpion. Well, I really don't know how people would think that this is not a scorpion, because, well, it's got, these legs right here. I'm not sure if scorpions would only have just 6 legs in real life, but that's exactly how the Nui Jaga were done. He's got this tail hovering above his body, and no other creature that I know of would have that. And there are these arms right here. Now, of course, in real life, then they would be actual claws right here, but these are actually supposed to be the masks that are on the Nui Jaga's hands. Alright, so now, I've said that this is supposed to be a certain Nui Jaga, and now I am going to get to that. Well, if you have played the Bionicle game that came out in 2003, the game that features these levels with the Toa, both in Mata and Nuva form, you may remember that there was a very large and yellow Nui Jaga in the Tahu level, the first level of the game. Well, this is exactly what that is supposed to be. Now, I did do my best to replicate everything from what was shown in the game. I actually did not take any reference. This was all done by memory, both references from the game and from the actual Nui Jaga that we got in 2001. Though, of course, this uses a lot of parts that did not exist yet during the time of release of the game. So basically, there are just some things that you see in games that you cannot make perfect replicas to until many years later. And that may possibly be true for some other sets that we've got right now, because there are just some certain pieces that do not exist yet, but we don't know if they are ever going to exist, but we can all hope. Now, some people could argue that, well, the Nui Jaga in the game, the large yellow one in the game, did not have the silver tips on the end of its legs. But that was the only thing that I could come up with to make it look pretty good. And it's not a perfect replica, I will say that, but I'm happy with what I came up with. Now, for this here, the face, the face right here, these are supposed to be the eyes. This plate right here, the Toa Hordika body plate, that's supposed to be the face, and these white arms, these ones you may recognize from the first Bionicle year, which originally came out with early Technic sets, and this piece right here, this Toametru arm piece, these are supposed to be the teeth of this very large Nui Jaga. Now, I did want to use some other sorts of pieces for this, like maybe put some white Borak eyepieces on the ends of them, but I think that they would have been too long just like that. And some people are probably going to say, well, you could have used 3 of these pieces. Well, I only had 1. At least, as of the time of the recording of this video. And I only had 2 of these. Putting a 3rd one right here probably could have worked out, but I did not have a 3rd one. I only had 2 in this color. Now, for the masks, the Picari that are seen on the Nui Jaga, the Nui Jaga that was shown in the game, also had Picari on its hands. I really don't get how you put masks in place of claws. Well, as you may all know, the Picari mask does not exist in yellow. Neither in this shade of yellow or the original Mate yellow, the original Jala yellow. Neither of those shades of yellow were ever given to the Picari. So I used the Metru yellow. I'm calling it Metru yellow. Some people would call this an orange, but it's yellow enough to be called yellow. At least in my opinion it is. So I put these pieces here because they looked good enough to be like the Picari. And we can probably say that these are supposed to be the eyes, these parts right here. And this part is supposed to be like the mouth. And I also used a Vaki leg piece on the head, right there. This piece right here is actually not doing much except for coverage. I was going to have it do something, but then I ended up having nothing be used. Now for the ball cup pieces that the legs connected to, I was going to use the Metru yellow ones on here, just like with the original Nui Jaga, though of course the original Nui Jaga didn't have the yellow ones. They had the blue ones and the purple ones in their respective colors. But when I put them on, the legs were just not sturdy enough. It just keeps flopping down to the ground, and that was totally not good. So instead, I used the much stronger ones that were introduced with Hero Factory. The ones that have a more squarish inside into them, while the middle ones are actually from the Bionicle series, but they're in the middle, so they are not going to have much trouble. So the front legs and the back legs do the support, the middle ones are just there. Now, here's another thing. Now, I don't know if I've mentioned this in my review of the Nui Jaga that I've made a couple of months ago. I think it was actually last year that I did it, though it was not an entire year, it was just in 2013, but it hasn't been an entire year since then. But, here's the thing. Like I said, I may have mentioned this, I may have not, but I'm gonna mention it now. When I was a kid playing with the Nui Jaga, I used to think that the tips of the tail were the heads. And I had no idea what this thing was. I think I may have said that, but if you haven't seen that review yet, I'm just telling you now. And also, if you haven't seen that review yet, you should check it out, along with my other reviews that I've done. So, I started off from the tail, and just worked on from there. And I put this Borak shield piece on for a bit of coverage, and then, right after I was done with the tail, I moved on to the main body. And there's really a lot of detail going on as far as using Borak head pieces, down on there, that are used to put the legs together. Now, I think one more thing that I'm going to put up before I put this video to a close would be the eyes. Originally, I was going to use the red ball pieces for the eyes, but when I used the ones that had a axle hole going all the way through to them, I just did not think that that would look good, because then with those blue friction pieces there would be ones coming out of the eyes, and that just did not look good. I was fortunate enough to find one of the red ones that only had one axle hole in there. Just one, just like with the Tawamata ball pieces that are put on the chests of Tahu, Liwa, and Kopaka, and Pohatu also had those on his shoulders. But unfortunately, I could only find one. I would need two to do it, but I could only find one. And because I couldn't find a second one, I decided to go with these pieces instead for the eyes. And they look good, actually. So, that about does it. That is my review on the giant yellow Nui Jaga seen in the Takoro level of the Bionicle game that came out in 2003, which is a game that shows the story that happens in 2002 and 2003. So that's about it. I thank you for watching, and well, feel free to subscribe if you want to continue catching up with any videos that I make, or are interested in the other things that I do, and I will see you in my next video. I'll talk to you again next time.